progress metrics really are just fuel. They keep us walking so that we can keep doing. I'm like, darn, I've been so reliant on them, but at the same time, I've also pushed them away out of my own protection. I really want people to hear this part. I pushed the majority of progress metrics away. Because I realized that they were weaponizing them against me. I realized that I was becoming reliant on them. I realized that if I didn't have them, I wasn't performing the same way. And this happens to all of us. Like if I don't have that tool, I can't do things as much. Or if that's taken away from me today, I'm not as happy, or I can't function. And I'm like, man, I need to destroy all of them. And as usual, in the journey of discovering that, I went too far. I still think it's the answer, but I went too far. Whereas I devalued them completely. Because then I realized, wait a minute, I don't need them. And I'm not going to get lost here, but I just want people to understand why I say that, because I got suggested something, and I want something people to consider this, but I'm like, if I don't need money anymore, and like in a video game, if I don't need gear, if I don't need a new sword to defeat the enemy, because I just know that, hey, you can do it with the sword that does 5 damage. Let's say to defeat myself, Shepherd Star, the Star Diplomat. It's my Shepherd Talisman. To defeat all this, you need to do 10 damage. Okay, I have 10 HP. Every time you attack me with a sword, you have a sword that does 1 damage. I do a lot of attacks, right? I'm powerful, I'm fast, I can figure things out, so you have to be on your toes. But really, if you understand the strategy and my approaches, you can avoid most of my attacks. So that means that if you can avoid all of my attacks, hey, you have to get 10 blows on me. Maybe you only can get a blow every day. You can only get 1. But that means you could defeat me in 10 days. For most people though, they can't survive, they can't perform, they can't avoid, they don't know a strategy to survive for 10 days. So what if then they get a weapon, a sword that does 5 damage? Now they only have to survive for 2 days. You guys see, all of a sudden now there's leeway. Now all of a sudden now there's leniency. Now all of a sudden now they don't have to have mastered all the strategies, because, well, now you only have to survive for 2 days. And then what if you get like an armor? Like what if like all my attacks, like if you get hit once, it's over. What if you get some armor now, like a shield or something that protects you from my attacks? So now you can actually survive 3 attacks. But you don't need it. Do you guys understand? If you just know the strategy and avoid everything, you never have to worry about that. You could survive for 100 days. You could do literally 0.1 damage. I'm like, I'm gonna win no matter what. I know exactly how to do this. Do you guys see, all of a sudden, you don't need any of the progress metrics. You don't need the gear. You don't need the sword. You don't need the shield. You don't need any of those stuff. In a way, they're useless. Are they though? Because I'm like, why did I think that? Because they make things easier. And I was seeking development. Because what was I trying to do, right? I was trying to figure out how to heal, how to achieve more, how to explore more, how to develop more. And I'm like, anything that makes things easier prevents the path to learning all that. And I still stand by that, by the way, guys. Do you understand that all the lessons that I'm discovering and figuring out, I would not figure out if I had access to significantly more tools and resources and a significantly easier life, fewer complications. I'm not saying bad is what does it, but I'm saying my own self-limits are what can create these situations for myself to learn it. I'm telling you guys, if yesterday I got pushed and encouraged to do some things that would have helped temporarily make me have more belief, because I needed to create distance, because I was like, I'm getting baited to focus on fuel, on a progress metric, on optimal. That's what is my worth, and that's what's changed. Trying to get me addicted to getting more people to consume my stuff, right? Like I said, it's that debate. And then, I was basically, let's just say, I was creating self-despair. I was trying to make myself not believe, just so that I can ground myself, see reality for what it is, and then start fresh, which is today. And I'm telling you guys, I was encouraged to do good, which is a good thing. We should always be encouraging everyone to do good and be like, hey, don't beat yourself up. Believe, you got this. You're awesome. You do things your own way, but you don't have to make it so challenging. And I agree with that. But do you guys see that if I would have taken the easier path yesterday and made things a little easier for myself, just so that I can just relax and be like, hey, you know what? I'll figure it out tomorrow, but let's just make it easy today. Let's have our German Stollen, it's like a pastry, a cake. Let's have some coffee. Let's send a message to a beautiful girl and talk to her for a little bit. Let's listen to some of our favorite music. Let's play a video game we haven't played in a while that we really enjoy. Those are all shields. I'm saying if we add enough and go on a positive path, we're protected temporarily. Everything's made easier. This is what I'm saying. It's like, think of it like, those shields are like, now I equipped the +5 sword. Now I equipped a shield that lets me survive 5 blows. You see, I don't have to learn the strategies anymore. All of you think that getting all your upgrades and immediately using the best things is the way. It's awesome. You guys understand? It feels so good because you can see the power difference. I call it a power spike. All of a sudden you're like, whoa. I used to struggle. And all of a sudden I started adding all these positives and doing all these things. I'm like, now it's so easy. Like it's night and day. But if it's so easy, that means that we don't have to rely on our other abilities. Because the other things are now taking over. What got everyone to get healed from this was when I wrote comments, like on YouTube or LinkedIn or something like that, and nothing else really worked. You guys understand that? It means that now all my focus and all my priority will be on writing comments, because that's what works. That's what heals people. So won't I then start creating less? Won't I start doing less videos, fewer streams? You guys see how this is done? So what ends up happening is when we start focusing on a progress metric, it usually gets tied to like an upgrade, fuel. And I call it, in video games, I call it gear, but I want you guys to think about it like that. Like it's something that we can get, something that we can measure, something that makes it, that's a pretty evident change, that shows power, that demonstrates that it literally causes change. Do you guys understand? Something overt. And it's what they do to make us, so we don't develop anymore the same way, that we don't walk the same way, so we don't just keep creating and keep exploring and keep evolving. They make us focus on the one abilities instead of the whole tree. I call this the tranquility example. What is the tranquility example? Think about that. Every day, I can choose when to use a power. This power is called tranquility. when I use tranquility, think of it like you guys just like put your hands out like this. Close your eyes for a few seconds and just, now you're in paradise, okay? There's flowing water. You can hear the stream of the water. You can hear the light wind breeze. There's a sun beam hitting you right now, and it makes you believe more. You're incredible. You're awesome. You got this. I'm so proud of you. I don't know why anyone hasn't told you that recently, but you guys don't need those tools. You never needed them. You're more than them. When was the last time you guys tried to operate without them? All right. So now that you have that knowledge in you, whenever you guys want to, all you have to do is press a button. So think like moving your thumbs down. Boop. And when you press both your thumbs down, it activates tranquility. After that, all the problems that have been ailing you, all the things around you as well, all that is temporarily gone. There's no more problems. Everything's good. Everyone is fully healed, including yourself. It's what I call a cool down. It's something that we can use every so often. That just makes everything better, everything easier. But it's meant for when we need it. Do you guys understand? It's meant for, hey, right now there's a bombardment of problems, of situations. All right, let me channel tranquility and I'll solve everything. Bing, and that's it. But now imagine that it has a cooldown and we can only use it once a day. If we can only use it once a day, won't we be more selective of when we use it? You guys see, all of a sudden now that limitation changes things. What if we realize the power of the tranquility? I'm like, at any point when I use tranquility, everything's better. What if then for some reason, like either because people were complaining or we were trying to figure out how can we get more tranquilities going? Like, this is so powerful. Can we use it more often? It solves everything. So all of a sudden, everything we're trying to figure out how we can just maximize tranquility, because tranquility is just the answer to everything. And again, I'm going to use video game examples, but I want just for you guys to think about like art, think about sales, think about writing, think about anything that's developing or creating. A method gets figured out that is almost like the go-to, and it gets to that for a reason. I'm saying that there's other methods and there's other things that could be even better, but they don't even get explored anymore because one method got figured out. And once the method gets figured out, everyone just thinks that that's the way. And I'm saying there could be even better ways, or there could be modifications from a strategy that gets presented. But usually it's one of the first things that gets presented as a solution to a problem that people couldn't figure out. And then all of a sudden someone else tries it and like, actually, this really does work. And then now it just gets reinforced. And now everyone just thinks that that's the answer. And then when they try it, they're like, holy shit, actually, it really is. I'm saying, why is it about figuring out the best solution? What if it was just like, hey, there's 100 solutions to this problem. How can we get to 100, guys? How can we get to 100 with two numbers? Addition. Let's just use even addition. But we could do subtraction. Any division, multiplication. How can we get to 100? So x plus y. Well, you can do 1 plus 99, 2 plus 90. You guys get what I'm trying to say? But what if everyone's like, the only way to get to 100 is 50 plus 50? That's the way. That's the best way to get to 100. It's easy. It doesn't make people think. Cause what if I do like, what's 87 plus 13, guys? You're like, hold on, wait a minute. Oh, that's 100. Do you guys see? You have to pause a little bit. You have to think a little bit. Or what if I'm like, what's 123 minus 16? I'm not gonna get lost, but I just want people to understand. Like, once you start adding in complications and other methods to get there, people are like, that's not really the way anymore. It's already been figured out. There's an optimal. Remember what we said earlier? There's an optimal way. That's the strategy. That's why it worked first. That's why they won